Another episode of Kootenai Bonsai here off the Cascadian Mountains in the Selkirks. Here is a hemlock that I Yamadori collected just last night with a few others. Saw it in there. It's just a monster, amazingly flat root system. I'll get in here and show you the trunk of the tree. Just right now I'm just potting it up. You can see there's some nice movement in the trunk here. I'm thinking of maybe tilting this up a little bit, give it a bigger look. Put together just a nice little wood box, and I'm just put it in here. I had to tilt it up because the thing was just tilted over sideways, so I had to actually tilt it up, and that's why you have this mound back here, which is really not what I want, but I wanted this tree to get going a little straight. I didn't want it to be fully over to the right. And then in here there's just some really nice roots coming off of there. So I'm hoping to kind of get that. I don't want to let it die too much, right? I want to keep the tree strong. So I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of a water, and then I'm gonna trim it up. Haven't done a lot of work with hemlocks before, so this will be something new, but I've got tons and tons of branches. I'll come around the other side. I had a hard time deciding what was the best front, because I mean, this is just beautiful stalk too. You can see, if I get in there real close, you can see some of that. Just beautiful stalk. But I felt like, I just wasn't totally sure, and it didn't really fit in the pot right. I like seeing those roots at the bottom. So I thought I'd try it, put it in here this way. It's funny, I tend to like trees that sit to the left of the pot and move to the right. This one's going to be off to the right a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. I'll post another one after just to let you know how it turns out, and yeah, should be beautiful. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing and liking if you do. It makes all the difference. So here's the hemlock all trimmed up, wired up. I'm going to take you through my process a bit. So let's start at the base here. Like I was saying before, I loved all these roots. Giving it a good spray down so it's all pretty wet. It'll give you some nice thing. One of the things you'll notice is that I wired it up just insane. I mean, this thing, like every branch is wired. And I was just reading about hemlocks, and saying you want to take the wiring off every 3 months because it really scars up the tree. So we'll have to see what happens here. And you can see my wiring job's pretty poor, just crossing, multiple wires, big holes. I like to do it fairly tight, and I was doing it tight, and then I was also hearing on YouTube that you don't want them too tight because it'll scar up tons, so it's maybe that'll be okay. But like I said, you can see all these little wires just not wrapped around the core at all. Which then makes, when you bend it, it can start to put pressure on this little part here, especially for these small branches, and break them. So you really want to get around the base, and they say that, but you just start wiring, and those are the mistakes. So the first decision I was trying to figure out was what branches to take off, and I really didn't take many off. You can see down here, I took one off here, so you kind of come up the tree here a bit. Took one off here, and I got this crazy clump here, which is no good. So you got some reverse taper here. You also have a little bit of reverse taper right at this base where these guys come out. Now the dirt was up to here. It was tilted over, so that's what's going on there. But I just have to work with it. So one of the things, another thing I didn't like was this crossing branch. I don't know if you can see it too well. This sort of double eye poker straight out at you, crossing over. So what I did is I tried to hide it with the branches. So I've done that in a couple spots here too, with this insane clump of branches. I tried to hide it with this nice pad here. So I think if I was to do it again, I would probably look at taking off more branches. Now when I originally wired this tree up, I had made each branch its own pad, and so there was just tons and tons of pads. And then I started again looking at images online of various hemlocks and various bonsai, and I realized, okay, you know, often it's one branch, but sometimes you can't tell. You can see that there's multiple branches. So what I've done is I've you know, gotten multiple branches to come in to one pad. Here I think I have 3 or 4 branches. This one, this one, this one, this one. So all these come into this one branch to create this pad. Here I've got another two that come up and branch into here. You know, one of the things I found that was quite helpful was weaving. So I started weaving a lot of these branches in and amongst themselves to create the pad. So I'd weave them in. You know, but a good wind comes in, it'll probably half it'll come out and I'll have to reweave it again. One of the nice things I found about working with hemlock was that the branches are super bendy, right? So it's a really nice one to be able to shape as you want. And so yeah, just take you around the back side here a bit too, just to show you what the back side looks like. So there's the back side. Zoom in a bit. Again, you can just see the gnarled up wires. Got a couple, I had to, you know, one guide wire coming straight down here, connected to the box to pull the whole tree up a bit. And I wasn't entirely sure how I wanted the angle of it to go, but that's what I ended up deciding on. And there's a big tuft coming up off the top here, and I chopped that down. So I ended up taking off quite a lot of the whole tree. Actually quite happy with it. You know, late at night I find right when I'm going to bed is a great time. I think about the tree and I get this image of the tree, of how I might want to sculpt it. And then I've sort of, you know, spent quite a few days since the original. I sort of got it up in the pot, turned it up, wired it a bit, and then I just sort of left it. I had like a few pads, and I was kind of trying to think, how do I want to design this tree? And then it was probably 4 or 5 days later, just let my mind ponder, come up with ideas, and I found that extremely useful. And just spending lots of time with the tree. So again, I'll just show you. Zoom in through a few rocks in there. All this little stuff. I don't love it when the needles are down here, but so eventually I'm going to get these roots to come out. I'm truly trying to keep the tree alive, so I don't want to take out too much, but you can just see it comes up. Here, a nice branch. So again, you just see the gnarly wiring. A lot of the branches I had to kind of use some wire just to turn them so they weren't underbellied because of the way the structure of the plant was. But anyways, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe and like if you can. Like I said, it makes all the difference, and I just love bonsai, so hopefully this will inspire the up-and-coming bonsai people who feel intimidated by the art. You just got to get a tree, start working on it. And I really recommend the hemlocks. I haven't done, this is my first hemlock, and just found it really nice to work with. There's just so much branching going on. The needles are really fine. You can bend the needle, you can bend the branches as you want, so it's really forgiving in that way. And I just think it creates an overall great look. Again, thanks for watching.